Hi, dear cricket fans, subscribers, and friends of Cricket Happenings. This is your host Ram with an early edition of Cricket Happenings early in the morning today. Well, what I'm going to cover in this particular Cricket Happenings show is going to be India's progress against South Africa right now, really tottering right now, and 99 for 7, almost on the danger of actually conceding the match to South Africa, and for South Africa to actually win this one-day series. 99 for 7 currently India in reply to South Africa's 265, which was a studded innings from Hashim Amla, who went on to make 116. As far as the third ODI against Australia and England is concerned, from where I'm going to start today, well, it was played at the SCG, the Sydney Cricket Ground. This is the third one-day international, and Australia certainly showing their dominance here. They have actually dominated it totally, and now they have gone for a 4-wicket victory and have taken a 3-0 lead in the series. So for England, everything has been going downhill, and that is not good for them going into World Cup 2011. As far as the story of the day goes here at the SCG, England were the ones who actually won the toss and chose to bat, and Andrew Strauss and Matt Pryor walked in. But Brett Lee actually dismissed Matt Pryor for the second consecutive duck in this one-day series, as he was gone LBW ball Lee for a duck. So that was the first wicket to go. Andrew Strauss and Trott in the middle. Trott came in. Andrew Strauss and Trott slowly started settling the innings, but Andrew Strauss, the bowling was superb as far as Brett Lee and Bollinger were concerned early on in the piece there. But Andrew Strauss and Trott got into a serious misunderstanding. In fact, Jonathan Trott pushed the ball, went for a single. In fact, called for a. He started running when Strauss started coming, and then. I suddenly stopped in his tracks, and by the time Strauss started running, it was a total misunderstanding. It was very, very funny. Both the batsmen were stranded at one end, and in fact, Michael Clarke actually put down the stumps, threw it down to Haddin. Haddin took down the stumps, and Andrew Strauss was gone, run out. A Hussey, Doherty, Clarke, because it was a misfielding, and then Doherty relaying it to Clarke, and that's it. So Strauss was gone for 23 of 27 balls with 2 fours, and England at that time were in the 8th over, they were 38 for 2. Jonathan Trott was joined in by Bell. Bell played one confident stroke through the covers for 4 by really showing some aggression there, but that was it, as Watson came into the attack and forced Bell to actually spoon a catch, and Watson took a magnificent catch. Actually, it was going on to his wrong hand, I would say, but he plucked his hand, he dived forward and took the catch, and Bell was walking. Cotton bowled Watson for 10, and England in the 13th over were 61 for 3. Ian Morgan joined Trott in the middle. Trott was actually milking the singles, and he was also playing strokes only to lose balls. Ian Morgan was giving him good support. So from a position of 61 for 3, they started still steadying the innings and taking the score on to 118 when Hussey came into the attack. Now David Hussey had Morgan actually playing a shot. It was a good shot, but Clarke picked up a superb catch in the I would say it was in the covers region. He picked up a superb catch. He flung his, he took his, it was a ball which was going over his head, but he stretched his hand and he took a catch over his head, and that was a beautiful catch which was taken by Michael Clarke. And Ian Morgan was gone. Caught Clarke bowled Hussey for 30 of 41 balls with 2 fours, and England were 118 for 4 at that stage at the halfway mark. And after that, Paul Collingwood came in, and Paul Collingwood, Xavier Doherty took advantage of Collingwood's form, as Collingwood actually played for he presented a straight bat, but the ball actually from Doherty was a good one, which turned across the face of the bat and kissed the off stump, and Collingwood was gone, continuing his very, very poor vein of form in the one-day series here. Clean ball by Doherty for 1, and also Yardy spooned up a catch to Doherty. It was like a real catching practice, as Doherty held the ball, and that was it. Yardy was gone, and England were suddenly sinking 130 for 6, and then they were rescued. Jonathan Trott was still there, probably feeling guilty that actually Strauss was run out, but he was there, and he got good company from Luke Wright, who played a few good strokes, and Jonathan Trott was actually content in taking singles, and they pushed on the score, I would say, to 179, and that was it. When Luke Wright was gone, he was caught behind with the bowling of Hastings, as Hastings came in and picked up his wicket there. He was gone for 32, and after that there was not much of resistance. Chris Wokes was caught wide, bowled Lee for 12, and Lee came in and actually picked up 2 quick wickets, and that was it. He polished off the tail. Ajmal Shahzad was caught by wide of the bowling of Lee for 4. Tremlett was run out for 1, and Jonathan Trott was left high and dry and not out on 84 of 119 balls and 3 fours. 214 all out England as far as the bowling figures are concerned. Brett Lee, 8 overs, no maiden, 3 for 27, was the man of the match. Bollinger, 8 overs, no maiden, none for 36. John Hastings, 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 51. Watson bowled beautifully, 6 overs, no maiden, 1 for 17. Stephen Smith bowled 3 overs for 19. And the best bowler, according to me, was Xavier Doherty, who gave a ball a lot of air and invited the mistakes from the batsman. Xavier Doherty, 10 overs, no maiden, 2 for 37. And David Hussey also bowled well, 3 overs, no maiden, 1 for 24. Now, looking at the reply from Australia, it all started with Brad Haddin actually going for some aggression there. He was very, very aggressive right from the beginning when Ajmal Shahzad and Tremlett were hurling the ball to him, and Haddin played some beautiful strokes. As you know, he's a very good straight hitter, and that's what he played. He played some good straight drives, some beautiful strokes on the offside. But the first wicket to go was Shane Watson, who was clean bowled by Tremlett for 9. So that was the first wicket to go with the score on 10. At the first wicket, and Sean Marsh this time couldn't do much as Shahzad had him wrapped on the pads. He was LBW bowled Shahzad for 6, and Australia suddenly were in trouble as Brad Haddin at the other end was playing his only strokes, but Michael Clarke continued his poor form like Collingwood, as Michael Clarke actually gave a catch to Yardy of the bowling of Chris Wokes for 9, and it was 59 for 3 for Australia in the 11th over. And then the score got pushed on with Cameron White coming in. Cameron White also disappointed as Collingwood came in and actually did a double strike and started giving a sniff for England, because what happened was the first wicket go 2 quick wickets by Collingwood as Cameron White is LBW bowled Collingwood, and the next just when the score had reached 100, Brad Haddin was also gone. He was looking good. He was the sole hope, but he was gone. Caught Wokes bowled Collingwood 54 or 59 balls with 7 fours and 1 6. And suddenly, like England had hope, 100 for 5, and Hussey and Smith in the middle. And David Hussey and Smith actually played well. They had a good partnership of 63, with David Hussey playing some good strokes and also playing sensible cricket. Stephen Smith Stephen Smith also hit 2 fours and 1 6, but he did all the hard work. But Stephen Smith's shot was a very silly shot as he was caught by Yardy bowled Tremlett after, probably that was he would have probably Smith should have realized, probably with more maturity and more experience, Smith would definitely realize that. But Smith was gone, playing a silly shot, caught Yardy bowled Tremlett 26 of 37 balls, 2 fours and 1 6, and England still had a chance, 163 for 6 in the 36th over. But David Hussey played a wonderful innings finally to pilot Australia to victory, not out on 68 of 89 balls, 6 fours and 1 6. And John Hastings said, really, he's a person who has been selected in the World Cup squad for 2011, and Hastings really proved that, being not out on 18, giving good company to David Hussey there, not out on 18 of 31 balls with 1 4 when the victory came. And actually Australia won this match with 4 overs to spare, and this was a 4-wicket victory in the third one-day international. David Hussey was superb, not out on 68 of 89 balls with 6 fours and 1 6, but Brett Lee took the man of the match. And as far as the bowling figures were concerned, Ajmal Shahzad 10 overs, no maiden, 1 for 45, Tremlett 9 overs, no maiden, 2 for 50, Chris Wokes 7 overs, no maiden, 1 for 31, Luke Wright bowled 2 overs for 12 runs to Yardy, 10 overs, no maiden, none for 45, and Paul Collingwood 8 overs, no maiden, 2 for 25. So that was as far as this one-day international match was concerned. England really going down the barrel there, and Australia have taken a 3-0 lead in the 6-match one-day series. Now let's cast an eye here. I take you down to the ground where it is they played at the Super Sport Park in Centurion, where the fifth and final one-day international of the MTN one-day international series is on. And well, India are almost out of this match here. South Africa made 250 for 9 in their 46 overs. 250 for 9 of 46 overs, and the person who really shone there was Hashim Amla, who actually held the innings and played a wonderful knock of 116 of 132 balls with 9 fours. And there was some contributions of Mon van Wyk, who impressed with 56 of 63 balls with 8 fours, and Duminy contributed 35. And they were in fact South Africa struggled actually, thanks to Hashim Amla and Mon van Wyk. They scored 250 for 9. Bowling figures, well, 3 for 50 for Munaf Patel and 2 each for Zahir Khan and Yuvraj Singh. As far as India were concerned, India scored. India actually had a 3-wicket victory in this match. In fact, right now They are really under trouble here. They are in replying to that particular score of 250 for 9. They are absolutely in trouble. They are currently they are 119 for 8 wickets. Right now, it's the person, in fact, Yusuf Pathan is there holding the hopes, but I don't think there's going to be anything. Probably South Africa is going to take the series 3-0. And well, for India, nothing has been going right. They collapsed totally. 119 for 8 currently in the 23rd over. The contributions coming at the top of the order from Parthiv Patel, 38. Right now, Yusuf Pathan is not out at 26. Some beautiful bowling from Dale Steyn and Mon Morkel, reducing India to such a situation. Morkel 5 overs, no maiden, 3 for 31. 5 overs, 1 maiden, 20 runs and 2 wickets for Dale Steyn. So Tsobe has won. Johan Botha has won, and Robin Peterson has won. 119 for 8. 151 runs more. More runs required with 2 wickets and 24 overs to go. 119 for 8 currently. I don't think India definitely don't have any chance here. It's all over for India, and probably South Africa is taking the series 3-0. I'll be back with a full match report on this later on in my program. That's it, dear cricket fans, subscribers and friends for Cricket Happenings. This is Ram signing off. Thank you.